I'm going to start today by reading two different short stories to you guys, okay? I want you to think about which one you like better. Here's the first one I'm going to read. One afternoon, a giant walked through the forest. He was feeling happy because he was going to his grandma's house. He liked his grandma a lot. She was fun. She baked food and played games. She was the best grandma ever. When the giant arrived at Grandma's house, he opened the door and went into the house. Okay, that's the first one. So keep that in your head. I'm going to read the second one. What was that loud sound? He knew he heard something, and there it was again. It was music. Beautiful music, and he loved it. The pirate stopped skipping and just froze. Then he started wiggling his toes in the sand. Before he knew it, he was bouncing his head and his arms too. Now he wanted to sing. He had to sing. He couldn't help himself. When he opened his mouth, out came a very lovely sound. He was quite possibly the greatest singer in the world. Raise your hand if you liked the first story better. Raise your hand if you liked the second story better. Helena, why did you like the second story better? Exactly. It had a lot more details, a lot more describing words. It was more interesting to read. It talked about how the pirate stopped skipping and just froze, how he heard beautiful music, how he wiggled his toes in the sand. Could you picture that pirate wiggling his toes in the sand?
Yeah.
Right? The other story just talked about how the giant went through the forest and he liked his grandma. It wasn't very descriptive, right? When we use describing words, our stories are a lot more interesting to read. So when we're writing today, I want you guys to remember to try to add some very good describing words. All right, today we're going to finish our planning sheets for our imaginative narratives. So we're going to finish these, and then we're going to be able to start our rough drafts later. All right, describing words. Remember we made this poster?
Adjectives.
Yes. Adjectives are another word for describing words. So adjectives can talk about how something behaves, the color of something, how something feels, anything about a noun. We can talk about the size of something, how something looks, how something sounds, and how many of something there is. So we can talk about so many things, right? So with our writing today, I want you to try to add any describing words that you think would make your story more interesting. In that story that I read about the giant, how could we have made that story more interesting? Raise your hand if you have an idea. Amani?
We could have added a little bit of more details.
Details about what? What could I have said?
When you go into the house, how much, like, what I noticed that they do like stuff. They couldn't do something that they see.
Exactly. I could have told you what kind of stuff they did. Caucasian, you have an idea?
They could use transition words.
They could have used transition words. That would have made it a little more interesting. Helena, you have an idea?
So how tall was the giant?
Yes, exactly. That would have gave you a better picture in your head of what the giant looked like. Connor?
Who he met in the forest.
Right, did he see anyone in the forest, or did he just walk through the forest and that was it? We don't know, right? They didn't say, they just said, one afternoon a giant walked through the forest.
Doesn't give any details.
Right, it could have talked about how pretty the forest was, how tall the trees were.
How tall he was?
That's what Helena said, how tall
What
the
his
giant
name
was.
was? What
Right.
color?
So by adding details to our stories, we make them a lot more interesting, and the readers of our stories can picture in their head what you're trying to tell them. I'm going to read a few parts of these gingerbread stories that we read that have really good details, to give you some examples.
So we have to read the whole book.
No, not the whole book. We're just going to read a little few sentences. We don't have time to read the whole book. All right, this one says, so they mixed up the batter and they out the dough, and they shaped the little arms, they shaped the little legs, and they shaped the little head. Can you picture this gingerbread man so far?
Yes.
All right, then it says, and with raisins, they made the little eyes, and a little nose, and a little mouth. And then with sugar glaze, they dressed him in a fancy suit of clothes. You have a pretty good picture in your head what this gingerbread man looks like, right? Just by their words. And then you can see it, and it looks like what you thought in your head because they described it so well. They used sugar glaze, that's what it said. This one, the gingerbread baby, says, he couldn't believe what he saw. There in the middle of the clearing was a gingerbread house, frosted with sugar, covered with candy, doors with peppermint handles wide open. Can you picture that gingerbread house?
Yeah. Yes.
There it is, just like they described it.
I imagine it just that little.
Right, exactly. Alright, this last one in the gingerbread cowboy. This says, once upon a time, in the wild, wild west, there lived a rancher and his wife. Every morning, just as the sun was coming up, the rancher saddled his horses and fed his cattle, while his wife baked biscuits. Biscuits with butter, biscuits with honey, biscuits with jelly. Yes, those breakfast biscuits were plump as pillows, soft as clouds, and as tasty as big Texas barbecue. This one, they described the biscuits. They talked about how you can have them with butter, with honey, with jelly, and then they talked about how they were plump as pillows, soft as clouds, and tasty as big Texas barbecue. Doesn't that make you want to eat a biscuit?
Yes.
Yeah, just by their words. Yes, Helena? Cattle? It's animals.
It's like animals, like a cow.
All right, there's one more good paragraph in this book. It says, he tossed the gingerbread cowboy into the air like a flapjack on a griddle and swallowed him in one gulp. Oh, can you picture that gingerbread man flying up like a pancake?
Yeah.
And flopping right into his mouth?
I picture it as
Right, so the author of this story used that description, and it was a really good one, right?
fish looking up at him.
Right, so we want our stories to be really interesting.
Yeah.
And we want people to want to read our stories. So by using describing words, we can make people want to read them. Yes, Victoria?
The gingerbread baby book, like when you seen the gingerbread house, don't you know she told what was up there? Like peppermint and stuff like that.
Yep. Frosting and peppermints. So you can picture that since they told you what was there. They used the details about what the gingerbread house was made out of. Is that what you're saying? Yes, Cassie?
The gingerbread boy book, when it said that they put it in the
Uh-huh.
So it was like a chicken and a top hat and a wedding suit.
Right? You pictured him all dressed up really nice.
Weddings.
All right. Today, we are going to finish up our last character on our sheet. So, in all the gingerbread stories that we read, the last character either ate the gingerbread man or the gingerbread man tricked him or her and got away. Right? That's kind of what happened in all the stories we read. So you need to decide what's going to happen to your main character. Is your main character going to get eaten? Or is your main character going to trick someone and get away? So that's what you need to decide today. You're going to talk about who is the last character that your main character is going to meet. Okay? You're going to talk about this character, what happens. So I need to know, does this character eat your main character? Or does your main character find a way to trick this person? So a lot of them we read were wolves or foxes, right?
A lot of foxes.
So yours doesn't have to be a wolf or a fox. right?
It can be a cow.
It can be anything. Any character you want.
It can be a shark.
You also I need you to have a conversation with this person. I need you to tell me if your character tricks this person, what are they going to say to trick them? And if your character gets eaten, what did the other character say to trick your main character to get eaten, right? Someone always gets tricked. Either your main character or this character. So you got to think about, what do you want that character to say? Yes, Elena?
Mine would be like a little bit different. Like my main character eats whatever's trying to trick my main character.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. It's something different.
I want to do.
You could do that.
I'll never.
Sorry. What were you gonna say?
I want my nighttime collaborative cook. So just like build and change and build.
I like these different ideas. That's very good, Cassie.
And then there's
Cassie's talking.
Mine can play along and act like it's dumb, but it's not. It's cheating. And right in the middle when it starts to get so grab his seaweed and wrap it around his mouth.
I think that's great. Okay, so we're gonna go back to my story for a minute. So remember, my first character was the little girl who made my pizza girl. Then, who did I meet next? Do you remember? The cow. So next, the pizza girl was running down the road, and she ran into the cow. The cow said, "Moo, why are you running so fast?" The pizza girl knew that she could not stop running to talk to the cow. So instead, I finished on the back. So instead she yelled, "I'm the pizza girl, in case you couldn't see. You won't catch me, I'm faster than a bee."
You won't.
Then right behind the little girl, the cow took off running too. Alright, so my second character was my cow. Then I wrote my last character already so I could show you guys what it looks like. So my last character is going to be a horse. So then, what's this word called? Transition word. Good. So you need to start with the transition words. Mine was then. You could have, what's another good one you could have? Last. Okay.
Eventually.
Would first make sense if it's your last character? Tamarian, would it make sense? No, it's your last character. So, like your classes say, last,
At last.
finally.
A minute later.
Alright, mine is then. So then I have Pizza Girl was running until she saw a horse. The horse was so big that he took up the whole road. So Pizza Girl had to stop running. The horse asked, what's this called? Quotation mark. Why do I use a quotation mark? Alright. Quotation mark, I said it. The horse asked, "Where are you going?" The pizza girl replied, and I used a quotation mark again because she was talking, "I'm running away from them." She pointed to the little girl and the cow. The horse acted confused and asked, "Why are you running from them?" The pizza girl said, "They want to eat." Before Pizza Girl could finish her sentence, the horse bent down and scooped up Pizza Girl in one big gulp. So in my story, I had my main character, my Pizza Girl, get eaten.